Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for April 21st. So this is going to be a little bit unusual in that, as you know, you often see me shuffling the cards, you see me cutting them, asking my questions, etc. And I did do that, except then we had a slight feline missing cat emergency in the house, and it's just frankly easier for me to sort of start from the beginning. I hadn't gotten very far. You'll see that when I pull the camera down. And what I was in the middle of explaining when the emergency surfaced is that before I sat down to do this reading, I really cleared the cards. And so not only did I energetically clear them, but I also separated them. I put them, I created like all kinds of piles of them. And randomly created these piles. And the reason I do that is because, sometimes you'll see the same 2 or 3 cards always come up back to back to back. And that's when I start to question, maybe that's necessary or the way it should be. And then maybe, they're just not getting cleared or shuffled well enough. So before I started this reading, that is actually what I did. So come on down and I'll show you why I was making that point. Because these are the 3 cards that came out back to back. So I guess it would be really helpful now if I just took a moment to tell you what it is this reading is about. So things have been kind of like crazy, right? You've got, the numbers escalating. You've got these protests happening. You've got people calling Dr. Fauci, I think I said that right, a fascist. Trump is calling on people literally to crucify this guy. You have all of this sort of insanity that is swirling around. And that is what he does, right? That is Trump's style. As soon as stuff starts coming at him that he doesn't like, that he thinks is unfair, where he thinks he's sort of been picked on, he throws out a shiny ball, right? That's what he does. You've had 3.5 years, in fact, longer than that, of dealing with this guy and recognizing that this is absolutely his pattern. When stuff is going on that he doesn't like, he does something outrageous or creates some sort of a crisis so that it diverts attention where he doesn't want what he doesn't want people looking at. Okay, so that was the question I asked. Tell me more about Trump and his shiny ball. Tell me what that's going to look like. Tell me, sort of what we are dealing with here. So, this is the thing, right? Trump doesn't really have very many tricks up his sleeve. I'm sorry, he's just not that clever. And so the way he handles it when things are not going the way he wants them to go, it's a 3 attitude response, okay? Bluster, bully, bitch. That's what he does. That's how he handles it. And honestly, don't expect anything else because this guy really is that sort of one-trick pony, right? So again, come on down and let's take a look at what these cards mean and represent. And I had not, in the video that you're never going to see all 3 minutes of it, I actually hadn't started interpreting these cards. So come on down and we'll all start from the new beginning. Okay, so this is what we have here. He is going to become even more aggressive at trying to destroy those people or situations that are not to his liking. He is going to keep on attacking. And in attacking, he is going to be diverting attention. So that is part of sort of the behavior that you can anticipate going forward, ramping up. He really, really just wants everybody to start being nice to him. Because frankly, his ego and his sense of, self, whatever it is, can't take many more hits. Okay, he's starting to become really, really erratic, because they don't stop. Right, the insults, the recriminations, the flat out pointing out that he's doing a terrible job, his lies, his no, you really did say this. Don't say you didn't. All of that stuff is really starting to come at him in a really, really fast clip. And because of that, he is becoming more and more erratic. He is feeling more and more caged. Excuse me. He doesn't know what to do or how to handle it. And so he reverts back to what he always does. Hang on, I'm going to choke. Sorry about that. So he doesn't have any other tricks up his sleeve. This is what he knows how to do, and this is all he knows how to do. The problem is that fewer and fewer people are going to be very impressed, are going to buy into it, are going to feel as if he is behaving appropriately. So he's going to start to lose whatever support he had. He's going to continue to lose actually support from some pretty serious Republican either donors or sponsors or talking heads, radio people. He's going to start losing more and more of it because frankly, death, literal death, is sitting at his door on his hands as his responsibility, and he has failed so completely and so totally. So this is not, listen, this is not going to be a bad week for this. This is going to be something that he is going to be dealing with for quite a while going forward until the virus sort of peaks and starts receding, and frankly that's not going to happen in 2 weeks. Okay, it might in some of those early highest hit places like New York seems to be doing kind of it feels like it's flattened the curve and the numbers are coming down, but a lot of people and a lot of places where there was either no or they were very slow to do the whole social distancing thing and keep people out of crowded environments. Where that didn't exist, the result of that is going to start being, you're going to start seeing the result of that next week and the week after, somewhere in that time frame, perhaps even later this week. So more and more people are going to start losing kind of faith in him. I'm talking about the few souls out there who still have some. And this is the thing, right? And I spoke about this in yesterday's video, and of course it remains true. The very people who he actually needs to support him are exactly the people he's playing games with. They are exactly the people who are following and listening to what he is saying. And this is it, right? He doesn't care. He's not capable of caring. So exactly the people who are going to be voting for him are exactly the people that he is putting in the greatest harm and at the greatest risk. And there comes a point in time where the scales have got to become balanced, and this sort of complete imbalance is really, really going to become amplified, and it's really, really going to become, an ongoing sort of issue with him that just gets bigger and bigger all the time. So anticipate more shiny balls. He's going to start going after, it's bad enough he went after, the World Health Association. Trust me, he's not done with them yet. He still has some complaining to do about them, because more information is going to come out about exactly how quickly and how early he was getting data, real-time data about what was going on out there. He was getting it in real time from the World Health Organization, and he was getting it in real time from China. And he was so busy trying to defend his economy and his plan for his re-election that he absolutely chose to ignore it. And there's your result. And this is how come he's feeling like this, because, that kind of didn't quite go the way he expected it to go. You have to understand, this guy sees everything from a marketing strategy. So for him, he just wanted to push a louder message. And he felt that that louder message would drown out the reality. And to be fair, in some circles, that has really worked for him. However, it's not going to continue to work for him, and more importantly, the circles that it works for him in are diminishing. They're just simply diminishing. There is going to be an attempt to sort of try to keep a lid on this stuff. And I'm talking about the stuff that is going to trigger a volatile emotional reaction with people who actually insist on facts and data. So he's trying to keep that tamped down, and he's trying to really, really stir up the aggression. Okay, so those protests that are going on in Michigan, Wisconsin, Texas, I'm sure there's a few other places. That is his current strategy. Everybody was asking really hard questions. So he is going after those places that are either really supportive of him or, have for example, a Democratic governor who is not wanting to play ball with Trump or play by his rules because his rules are skewed and wrong. And wrong-headed. So that is his latest shiny ball. Let's literally create protests in the street. And again, the people who are protesting, no physical distancing, no mask. The things that come out of their mouth is absolutely head shaking, right? I mean, you just can't understand why you have an entire world and a big chunk of America who all agree on the facts. And then you have this other part of your country who thinks the facts are wrong, thinks the facts are not true, thinks all kinds of literally witch doctor medicines and practices are going to either A, cure them, or B, keep them safe. And what they're actually doing is they're putting them at greater risk. And certainly there seem to be a lot of heart attacks that are happening as a result of that drug that Trump is promoting like it's one of his hotels or golf courses. So that's his distraction. He is literally trying to create a lot of upheaval, literally almost like civil disobedience. Now, again, for those of you who have followed me, especially recently, I have been saying that very often this particular card it looks as if it's actually going to be my card for Joe Biden. And so in this crazy, I would not be surprised if not only on the one hand is he trying to create civil disobedience, but on the other hand, I would not be surprised if you don't see some messaging coming out from the Democrats or the Republicans trying to keep things calmed down and settled down. But there is it feels like the imbalance, if you will, is going to become sort of a little bit more pronounced than less pronounced in the coming weeks. So watch out for more shiny balls. Who else can he go after? Well, let's see. Recently, it's been the World Health Organization. It has been China. And anticipate that he's going to go after at least another one or two countries, whether he is talking about cutting off trade routes or supply chains, or whether it is even more aggressive sort of than that. And again, as information comes out about how he was spending his money, how he was spending government money, how assets and resources were being squandered, he's going to come under increasing pressure, and that, of course, creates those shiny balls. Look at the ball, look at the ball, go this way, go that way. Don't, for God's sakes, look at what's in front of you and what puts me, Trump, in a bad light. Okay, so just anticipate more of that. It's not going to slow down. It is going to accelerate with him. And part of what's going on is as he starts to recognize that his reelection is really almost completely contingent on his handling of this virus, and he continues to be unwilling or unable to actually accept the fact that he really doesn't have a handle on this. Okay, he really doesn't understand. He doesn't understand the virus. He doesn't understand the data. He doesn't understand what's happening. Like it's almost as if, unless you're talking about money to this guy, he has no concept of exponential growth. And for him, it's about the money. It's about keeping his base happy. And he's just going to find that it becomes more and more difficult. And so more and more balls are going to start bouncing. Yeah. You're also going to see in the not too distant future, a real change of fortune happening for him. Now, I don't know if we're talking, May or June. Like, I don't know how far away this is, but there's definitely a few instances, as you will, or things that are going to happen that are really going to put him in a place where he's really coming under some very harsh judgment. And again, you may very well see some of those rats jumping the ship. Because again, it gets so insane what he says and does that there is not a way to spin it, and there is not a way to present it. There is not a way to get people to look at it from a different perspective. And so what you're going to have is more and more people starting to question what the heck is going on and why he is doing what he is doing. So what I'm saying is, even some of those people who are still, they're Trump supporters, they're not real thrilled with what's going on. They see stuff, they're not liking it, but they're at this point still not quite ready to say, well, I don't know that he's doing the best job that could be done. You're going to see a little bit of more of that coming to the surface, and of course, that creates more bouncing balls. More news coming out. You've got information coming out, you've got news coming out, you've got unexpected information coming to the surface, and you have him again in this real defensive posture. So, I don't know. Gotta love those investigative reporters, boy, oh boy, you sure do, because they continue to uncover and discover stuff that he would prefer be kept under wraps. But they're not going to stop, because they're not going to stop. That's why. It is their job. It is their calling. It is their respect for the United States. It is their respect for honesty and integrity. And ultimately, that really is going to be the poor guy's undoing, right? I mean, he's not, that is not an arena that he is able to play in because he doesn't have the skill set. He just doesn't, right? I mean, he is just so broken, and that damage is going to play havoc with your country. And so, again, for those of you who can stay safe, who can stay protected, do so. Do not become really, really alarmed with the social disobedience. I see it escalating and sort of diminishing as, I'm sorry, as people who are partaking in those events get sick. So that's sort of a sad, sad situation. I have my pendulum sitting here, for those of you who might have noticed it, sitting on my smoky quartz, because I just wanted to do a quick look at, Trump and his jail buddies, right? Cohen has been released, from what I understand, and is serving out the rest of his sentence, or however that's going to work, confined to home, right? Manafort, I think, is still incarcerated, and Stone is due to go into jail. And so I want to take a look at what that looks like and how that looks like. I did, around the time where Cohen went to jail, I did at that point say that I did not see him being in jail for the whole term of his punishment or his incarceration. I don't know what video it is. It honestly, it doesn't matter at this point, but I'm not surprised to see him having an early exit. So let's just start with a couple of questions here, and that's the reason for the pendulum. And again, for those of you who don't know, back and forth is yes, round and round is no. And when the pendulum is ready to start answering my questions, it does this very cool side-to-side motion. Okay, so my first question, is Manafort likely to be released from jail as a result of COVID concerns? And he's getting a strong yes. And I got to tell you, I don't know if it has or hasn't happened yet. Okay, will Manafort also be sort of confined to home? He's going to have to serve out his sentence at home. Is that likely to see what we're going to happen? Yeah. Okay, so that's looking very likely. Manafort will be released, and he also will be confined to home. And I would not be at all surprised if one of the conditions of this release is that they all, and I'm going to look at Cohen, Manafort, and Stone, that they all stay off of social media. Okay, I just have a feeling that the courts are going to say, we're going to keep you basically confined, and keeping you confined includes not allowing you access to social media. Okay, so, all right. So Michael Cohen is now at home, and is Michael Cohen, frankly, mentally going to do better in that environment? Well, of course, that's a big yes. Now, is Michael Cohen likely to write a book about his experiences? And that's getting a yes, but energetically, I'm going to ask this question because I feel as if this is not something he's going to be doing or releasing kind of immediately. So any book written by Michael Cohen with regards to his association with the Trump family, etc., Trump businesses, Is that book going to come out while Trump is still in office? No. And is that book going to come out before his sentence is served? And that is also a no. Okay. Good old Roger Stone. Is Roger Stone actually going to be incarcerated? Yeah, not at this time. Is Roger Stone also going to be serving his sentence at home? Yep. And is Roger Stone going to also have no access to, social media? Yeah, he's not going to have access. So then the next obvious question, right? Is Donald Trump, and I have not asked these questions of the pendulum, so I have not a clue what the answer might be. Is Donald Trump, in his capacity as president, going to pardon Roger Stone? He is not. Is Donald Trump, in his capacity as president, going to pardon Michael Cohen? No. Is Donald Trump, in his capacity as president, going to pardon Manafort? And is the reason that he is not likely to pardon all three of those individuals because he realizes that once they are pardoned, they can no longer keep his secrets? Okay, so he has enough cognitive brain function to know that that would be a really bad thing. This is getting a strong yes. So I guess for the time being, it really does look like the three of them are either going to be out of jail or not go to jail, and that it does not look like there is a pardon coming to them anytime in the near future, because somebody, probably, the White House legal counsel or somebody, has finally gotten through to him and made him understand that at the point that they are pardoned, they, one, acknowledge full guilt for what they do, and two, lose their their Fifth Amendment right to not incriminate themselves. So they then can be brought forward as soon as the pardons go through and have to answer some really difficult questions, and they can't hide behind, I don't want to give you an answer, or he told me not to talk about it, right? So it very much feels like somebody finally got through to him and made him understand that, honestly, these people are so dangerous to him if he pardons them, because they have no way to avoid answering questions that really he doesn't want answered. And they all are dangerous to him kind of in different ways and in the same way, because all of them have a really extensive knowledge about his dealings with Russia, business dealings, negotiations, the relationship between the two of them. And they see it, I think, from different perspectives. So if the three of them actually were forced to start talking, you would get such a full and complete picture that I think that just the idea of that probably just terrifies Trump. So for now, it looks like what we can anticipate is a lot of shiny bouncing balls and no pardon for his jailed friends. And I hear you out there saying that that is not right. It is criminal. I agree with you. And it is ridiculous that more of the people who have been incarcerated in your jails for ridiculous, petty offenses, and I include possession of marijuana in that, all kinds of craziness. Um, it's really criminal that they are not more quickly and in greater numbers being released. Um, but again, that is a very difficult thing for those Republicans to stomach or swallow, because that really does go against their very rigid and antiquated attitudes. So I guess that's where we're sitting right now. Thank you very, very much again for all of the support and the likes, the thumbs up, the comments. They're brilliant. All of my new subscribers, welcome. All of my established subscribers, thank you so much for your support. Until next time, take care, be well, and I will see you soon. Bye.